Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Loving Courageous. I'm your host, Demetris, and today I'll be speaking about 81-year-old William Brock that shot and killed Uber driver 61-year-old Loletha Hall. On March the 25th, Loletha Hall, who was working for Uber, drove to William Brock home to pick up a package. Now, however, William Brock thought that she was a scammer because he's been getting phone calls from someone saying that William Brock need to pay $12,000 to get his nephew out of jail. And William Brock told the police that the scammer threatened to kill him and his nephew if he didn't pay the ransom. So when Loletha Hall showed up at his door, he thought that she was the scammer. So Loletha Hall had a dash cam, and on it, there's a video, and it's also on YouTube, of her explaining to William Brock that she is here to pick up a package. And he said, "Well, I know what you're here for." And he held Loletha Hall at gunpoint and demanded to know the identities of the people who had called him. He also took Loletta's phone and refused to allow her to leave. Now, when Loletha Hall tried to get back into her car, William Brock shot her. And there was a little subsequent scuffle that happened on the driver's side of Loletta's car. Then William Brock decided to shoot her two more times before calling the cops. So after he decided to shoot her three times, he decides to call the cops. So when he called the cops, he told them he had shot a woman, according to an affidavit that was obtained by People magazine. He also told authorities, allegedly, that a male on the phone threatened him and his family. And when Loletha Hall arrived at his home, he thought she was going to harm him. Now, when the officers arrived at Williamsburg home in Ohio, South Charleston, they found Loletha Hall suffering from multiple gunshots wounds, and William Brock, he had suffered injuries to his head and ear, and he also had blood on his face as well. Now, just to let everybody know that Loletha Hall was unarmed. She did not have any type of weapons on her whatsoever. And Loletha Hall was taken to the hospital where she passed away due to her injuries. Now, however, when authorities investigated on this incident, they determined that Loletha Hall was not affiliated with the man that was scamming William Brock. They also determined that she also was not a threat to William Brock. So on April the 10th, William Brock was arrested and charged with murder. Now, of course, he pleaded not guilty, according to court documents, and his bond was set at $200,000. Now, William Brock also faced other charges. One of them is a murder charge for purposely causing Loletta's death. So the grand jury indicted him on that charge, and also two counts of felony murder. So one of the felony murder counts is accused William Brock of causing Loletha Hall's death as a result of committing or trying to commit another underlying felony, which is assault and kidnapping. So he is facing five charges, three murders counts, charged with kidnapping, and felonious assault. So there is a video on YouTube, and it's where after the officers arrive, The scammer called William Brock again and was saying that, oh, he's going to be in trouble. It was basically pretending to be an officer. And the cops were there, and it was a officer. She was talking to the scammer and was saying that she's actually basically a real officer. And she was telling the scammer, that person you sent, well, they're deceased. And they were saying to the scammer, why don't we meet up? And the scammer said, okay, but the person on the phone never showed up. But also, the company Uber made a statement and said, this is a horrific tragedy, and our hearts continue to be with Loletta's loved ones as they grieve. We have been in contact with law enforcement and remain committed to supporting their investigation. Now, this is all that I have on this story. I was really hoping to have more because I have not been posting like I was supposed to. I just moved, so that's why. But it's like I was just really hoping to get more information on it. But I just keep everybody updated on the story. But I'm just gonna give my input on this, and I will say that one, I think the officers was just dumb to say, "Oh well, I'm a real officer." Why would you say that? Like I swear, these cops, I don't know if they be thinking or what, but why would you say that? Like you supposed to pretend that you are a family member and be like, okay, how much money do you want? Okay, yeah, let's meet up. I mean, how long you been in law enforcement? Golly, like that was just terrible. Why would you tell them you're an actual officer? And talking about something, well, we should meet up. Ding dong, did you really think he was gonna want to meet up? You just told him you're a cop. I mean, that was just dumb. Y'all could have had the person right then and there. But also, I will say this is that he had no reason to shoot her and to kill her. Because number one, if somebody say, I'm here to pick up a package, okay, first of all, you don't know how to communicate. You don't just stand there and take someone's phone, hold them hostage. You don't do that. But clearly he felt like he above the law where he felt like he could just do that. And then on top of that, I don't understand. This is one thing that really pisses me off because the fact that he told some he was scared for his life. He thought she was gonna hurt him. How? But you took her phone away. You was bold enough to take her phone away. You was bold enough to basically kidnap her, keep her from leaving, and shot her 3 times. You don't seem like you're scared to me. And I'm just like, the fact that he shot her 3 times and then decided to call the cops. What? First of all, he a grown man. He know better. You call the cops first. You don't just stand there and shoot people. Like, if somebody came to my home and was saying that, they were supposed to pick up a package, I would have been like, there's no package here. You might have the wrong address. Like, the fact that he didn't even try to communicate with her, he just decided that, oh, he's above the law. I guess that white privilege really got to him. Well, it didn't get that far because you got 5 charges against you. So I hope he's guilty for all of them. Because I'm like, that don't make no sense. Like, you don't do stuff like that. And it was just the fact that he didn't see nothing wrong with it. Like, you a grown man. And then on top of that, you can tell me somebody scam call you and say, oh, give me a couple $1,000 or you're going to be in trouble. I mean, idiot, hang up the phone. Stop picking up the phone. Disconnect the phone. Like, if you know you getting scam calls, why the heck you keep answering the stupid dang on phone? And then on top of that, if you getting scam calls, why don't you just go to the call? Like, it just didn't make logic sense to me. He old enough to know better. And the thing that was really irritating to me was that you had some people that was making up excuses and was like he was being scammed and he's older. Age ain't got to do with a dang on freaking thing. Heck, My grandparents in their 70s, they wouldn't even do that. They'll go to the cops. So there's no excuse for him. And it's just like the fact that, I mean, I don't know, like it was just dumb. Like the fact that he just kept answering the stupid dang on phone. Do this man even have a nephew? That's what I want to know. Do he even have a nephew? Because when the cops showed up, he ain't mentioned nothing about his nephew. They ain't mentioned nothing about it. I'm like, okay. Do he really got family? I mean, this man is old for crying out loud. The man's in his freaking 80s. What nephew do he have? I mean, if he got a nephew, that person grown like I don't know what. It's like, what? I mean, come on now. Like, the it was just dumb. Like, are you kidding me right now? This is something that didn't even have to go this far. You could have communicated. You didn't have to do that. But number one, he went wrong when he didn't go to the cops about the scam calls in the first place. If you having people that are scam calling you, you go to the cops. Duh, it's not that hard. Like, and stop answering the stupid dang on phone. Why you keep answering the phone? Like, I'm not understanding that. I get spam calls all the time. You know what I do? I don't answer them. Boom. It's that simple. I mean, I'm not understanding what he and other people act like they're not understanding. I'm not understanding this. Stop answering the stupid dang on phone and go to the cops. He didn't do neither one of those. So he could have prevented this. And not only that, but when Loletta arrived, he could have communicated and be like, hey, like, there's no package. What are you talking about? He's getting scam called. She's being scammed, but she don't know it. If she's telling you she's here to pick up a package, you can tell by people's, just by the way they come off. Like if they, seem suspicious or if they really do seem like they really don't know. Like you could tell she really didn't know what the heck was going on. So to me, I'm not understanding what he act like he didn't understand about that. But when I watched that video, you could tell, like she really didn't understand what was going on. She's literally telling him, "Sir, I'm here to pick up a package. Like, what are you talking about?" So therefore, he could have communicated. He didn't have to get his gun and shoot her. He did not have to do none of that. He used unacceptable force. It was just unacceptable. So I hope that he is charged and I hope that he spends the rest of his life in prison because he can face up to 15 years. Which I ain't trying to be funny. Old man may be deceased by that time. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I'm really not. I mean, you got people that hit 100 years old, but this man's already 81. I ain't trying to be funny. But I just feel sorry for her, but I feel like this is unacceptable. You are not above the law. Now, clearly, he's 81, so he was born back in the day, which still goes on to this day, but he was raised with that Jim Crow. So clearly he think he above the law where he think he can just do whatever. No, you can't do that. And it just really pissed me off that you have some people in the comment section, they're trying to make up excuses for him. There's no excuse for his action. Imagine if somebody did that to you. Would you make up an excuse for that? Or if someone did that to your loved one, would you make up an excuse for that? No, you would not. And I'm definitely not about to make up an excuse for him. I'm just not. Like, he too old to know that. Like, I'm younger than him. And I know to communicate. If you just pick up a gun and just decide to shoot somebody, and she was actually yelling for help as well. And it was just the fact that in the video on YouTube, it was a little part where he said, because it was a part after he shot her um in the leg, they said, and he was saying, I shoot the other one. So I'm like, hold up. How are you threatened by her? How do you feel like she's going to harm you? Because the fact that he was so close to her, it don't seem like you scared. And the fact that he was just so bold enough to say that, like, no, you're not innocent. And I really want them to really investigate if he had family, because if you mean tell me this fool don't got no nephew and he just decided to do that, no, that is unacceptable. Like, come on now. Look around that house. Look, see if he got pictures of something of somebody, because they have not mentioned anything about his family. Like, okay, do he have siblings? What? They have not mentioned anything. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do he really even have a nephew? Because even if he do, well, if you that dang on concerned or you care that much about your dang on nephew, you'll be in contact with him. I'm like, what the heck? Like, if somebody stand here and be like, oh, you gotta pay this amount of money, for your nephew, I'm like, first of all, I'm call my family up and see what the heck is going on. But if I have a real close relationship with my nephew, then I already know, right? Okay, like this is fake clearly. But I feel like you can tell not only by that, but you can just tell like over the phone when the scammer was talking. I was like, you mean to tell me this dang on dumb old ass man literally was like concerned? So you mean to tell me you didn't call the cops, you didn't call your family if he have any? I mean, where is his nephew really at? Like, let's be real here. So that's why I said like no, it just don't make sense to me. But that's all I really have to say much about this. And I'll just say, rest in peace to Loletha Hall, and I hope that her family, get the justice that they deserve, because his behavior was just unacceptable. So now I'm just going to get into the Black History Month for today. So the Black History Month for today, I'll be speaking about Patricia Bath. She is the first Black female doctor to receive a medical patent when she invented the laser cataract treatment device back in 1986, also known as laser Focal probe. The co-founder of the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness copyrighted her invention in 1988. So now it is used around the world, and Patricia's bath invention has improved millions of people's vision. So that is all for today. Thank you everyone for listening to my podcast. And for my next episode, I'll be speaking about Congress. They are trying to make homelessness illegal. So stay tuned for that, and I hope y'all have a lovely day.